You could say there are dragon myths all across the globe. So, the people that like mythical creatures, gather around and let's talk about dragons. When we say dragon, what do you think about? Do you think about a huge snake with crocodile-like feet? Has wings? Has a face like a horse? And it breathes fire? You probably picture something like that. Some cultures around the world see this as a positive, but others see it as a negative. But let's find out, where did dragons originate from? We first have to say that every civilization that came on Earth has some type of mythical creatures that relates to a dragon. Since the beginning of civilization, dragons were always part of stories, and you could say it started in the Middle East or Egypt. But you want to know something interesting? Like the Native Americans had no contact to the Middle East or Egyptians, but they also had a dragon. Something equally weird is the Native Australians. They too did not have any contact to the outside world, but they also had dragons. So basically what I'm trying to say is, you can go anywhere in the world and there will always be a dragon related to their culture. And you could also say the first ever mythical thought that went in a human's head was about dragons. Some people see dragons as a positive, like the Chinese and Japanese, and places like the Middle East, like the Persians and Europeans, see dragon as something evil and negative. And if you ever read the Shahnameh, Rostam, which is the hero, kills a dragon. And this is the old drawing from around the 1500s. So what's the deal with dragons? Why can we find this everywhere in the world? Why does every culture have something to do with this creature? We can't be too sure, but when scientists researched this, they related it to ophidiophobia, the fear of snakes. Biology says fear of snakes is in the human genome, and this ophidiophobia causes the human brain to think of a snake as something worse. You might say there are people that are not afraid of snakes, but still, when there's snakes around, they'd probably get nervous. And you could say this is a mild form of ophidiophobia. But in reality, most people are afraid of snakes. And the fear of snakes is the most common phobia amongst people of the world. And it's understandable that this phobia caused this mythical creature to be all around the world. A bad version and a good version. Every culture has their own type of dragon. Like for example, the Chinese and Japanese, which see dragon as something good, they put a nice face on it, like a camel's face. But Western Asia to Europe see dragon as something negative and evil, and they show a dragon as something ugly and angry. So if you see all kinds of dragons throughout the world, by just looking at the face, you could tell if it's something negative or positive. If it has a friendly face, it means it's positive. But if it's angry or ugly, it means it's evil. But there's also another belief. They say that dragons came from dinosaurs, and they believe that ancient people found dinosaur bones, and when they saw the bones and how big they are, they imagined a dragon. Like for example, they might have found bones of this dinosaur and saw it as a dragon. This dinosaur is a Stegosaurus, and when you look at the bones, it really looks like a dragon. Or the skull of a Triceratops, which looks like an evil dragon head. And sometimes they probably found all kinds of dinosaur bones laid on top of each other, and they thought it was one creature with 3 heads. And that is why in some cultures there are 3-headed dragons. There are other stories that suggest that dragons came from crocodiles. Like for example, a crocodile attacked a person, but the person was able to run away. And later on, he went and told the story to his buddies that a monster like this attacked me. And he adds on to the story and says this thing could fly and it breathes fire. But unfortunately, we don't have a time machine to see if this actually happened or not. There are a lot of stories about dragons. In some cultures, dragons relate to water, and they say it comes from the sea. They might have seen huge blue whales, and then they imagine the dragon. When a whale jumps out of the water and jumps back in, something gigantic comes out of the water, and a person's imaginations could see anything it wants. If you ever noticed, when a whale comes to the surface of water and it wants to breathe, it lets out all the water from the blowhole. And maybe the thought of fire breathing came from this. Religious people also have stories about dragons as well. Like some religions believe dragons are the devil, and some other religions see it as something good. And in different cultures, the stories about different types of dragons relates to what they think about dragons. Like places like Western Asia or Europe see dragons as a problem and something negative, and a hero has to come along and kill the dragon, exactly like Rostam when it kills the dragon. But in Eastern Asia, a hero seeks help from a dragon to defeat something bad. But these are all myths and there are no dragons. But some Europeans believe the reasons that Europeans see dragons as evil is because of politics. And the reason for that is when ancient Greece was going through trouble and every city was fighting each other, there are a lot of dragon stories at that time. And people would tell each other, the real enemy is the dragon. Let's not fight each other so much and defeat the real enemy. And this is the reason why Europeans believe dragons are related to politics. But in conclusion, politics or non-politics, there is no dragons, and this thing we imagine is a myth. There's only one type of dragon in the world, and it's this, and it's the Komodo dragon. You can only find this creature in Indonesia, a scary and extremely dangerous animal. It's kind of like a crocodile and a snake had a baby. A completely venomous mouth that even with one bite, you could say the prey is pretty much dead. They already know how venomous they are. So basically, they go up to a prey, bite him once, and wait for him to die, and then they eat. So if you see this creature, don't you imagine a dragon? If you add 2 wings, it's pretty much a dragon. So what do you guys think about this? Please comment.